Chapter 2, On the Rails. Who wants to be the conductor?
Did they have, like, a lot of lines, or...
I think they have one line.
Then I can be the conductor. I'll try to channel my inner Ringo Starr.
I mean, maybe they'll be back. I don't know.
All aboard!
Cries the conductor of the 10:01 a.m. local to Woodland Center, the village where Aunt Primrose has her estate. As is necessary when you travel, Rory takes his sporty two-seater automobile, while you take the train. You have charge of the suitcases, as Rory's small car would be unable to carry even half of the necessaries that a well-mannered gentleman and his servant need in order to maintain proper decorum and elegance for several days away from home. With 6 bags in hand, you jog down the platform at a good clip. Paddington Station is bustling this morning, and the taxi that brought you here was unaccountably slow, and so you are cutting this a bit closer than you would have preferred. Working your way through a veritable obstacle course of humanity, you attempt to reach the train before it pulls away. But the flood of people that you must plunge through is vast. Small children...
I have a question. Is there an option to go to Hogwarts? Because that would be a good choice.
I think it unlikely. I think it would be
a wizard, though.
a slightly different genre.
Okay, fair enough.
I can introduce you to other magic-related choice script stuff later, if you wish. Okay, flood of humanity, that's right. But the flood of people that you must plunge through is vast. Small children who seem to have dropped a coin under a bench. Tour guides pointing up towards the great steel and glass-arched ceiling for an enthralled crowd. Families having their picture drawn by a caricaturist. Station workers measuring the platform with a tape measure. And the conductor looks like he is getting ready to shut the door. You simply must not miss this train. The next one isn't for 2 hours, and it would not do to arrive late. It would reflect poorly on Rory, and then he would not have the proper attire for this afternoon's fox hunt. Just as you are nearly within hailing distance of the conductor, a man sporting a bushy ginger beard turns to the woman he is walking with, drops to one knee...
It's Mr. Weasley! It has to be Mr. Weasley. Why else would he be ginger?
I hate to break it to you, but there are actually people with red hair.
What? That's not just a magic thing? Oh,
It's a little bit magic. It's real magic.
Genetic magic. Okay, keep going. I want there to be Weasleys. Okay, go ahead.
A bushy ginger beard turns to the woman he is walking with, drops to one knee in the middle of the platform directly in front of you, and begins to propose marriage. The conductor takes out his pocket watch, compares it to the great clock at the center of the platform, and then clicks it closed with a satisfied nod. What do you do?
We will miss that train if we don't just, run through them. But honestly, I really don't want there to be a fox hunt, so maybe that would be okay if we slowed down and let them have their moment. Fox hunting is a medieval and cruel sport. But anyways, I say we slow down. We can't ruin this Kodak moment. There's a Kodak moment right here.
Did Kodak might have existed by then. It's pretty old, right?
Yeah.
We can look that up later. Anyway.
They might have still been Kodak Eastman then, because I think they used to be Kodak Eastman.
Okay, I'm gonna have to Google this now. I'll Google it on my phone.
Oh my god!
Founded 1888. Yeah, they were definitely around. Okay, it is a Kodak moment. Although you are in a terrible rush, it would not be right to ruin this moment for these two lovers. The woman in
what moment?
This Kodak moment.
Thank you.
For these two lovers. The woman in question presses her hand to her heart as he recites a bit of poetry to her, and then proffers her a diamond ring. Who wants to be the ginger beard, and who wants to be the woman?
I love how the man is not a man, he is just a ginger beard. By the way you worded it.
I assume that the beard is big enough that the voice just comes out of the beard.
I'll do a Mr. Weasley voice if Emily wants to be the lady.
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay. Let not to the marriage of two minds.
Stammers the man with the ginger beard.
I'm sorry, my dear. I memorized this, and I wanted to be just right. Love is love, which alters. No, by God, I had it a moment ago.
Take your time,
says the young woman. The man in the ginger beard struggles to come up with the appropriate romantic quotation and is clearly having great difficulty. Should you assist him?
Can we hint it? Or, I don't know. Emily, this is your call. I'm just wondering what hint would mean. If it's extensive pantomime, that could be pretty fun.
I'll go with the subtle hint.
Okay. And remember, you don't have to do things that you are good at to have fun.
Oh,
just
thanks,
like
Ben.
life.
That makes me feel like we're going to fail now.
I don't remember what our stats are either. You lean down as if to make an adjustment to your shoe and murmur the line in question to the gentleman.
What's that you say? Speak up. I'm in the middle of an important moment here.
You pretend to have a coughing fit and try to work the first few moments of the quotation into the cough. Let me not tell my marriage of true mind. Unfortunately, a nearby newspaper boy begins pounding on your back, and a crowd of people start to gather, thinking that you are having some sort of fit.
I beg your pardon,
says the ginger-bearded man.
We're trying to have an intimate and romantic moment here. Shove off and cough elsewhere.
He shakes his head at you with impatience. You thank the newspaper boy, and then sadly look after the train, which has just departed.
Oh, man, I should have gone with, my first instinct.
Game over.
Oh, no!
We failed.
No, it's not.
Permadeath, too.
It's not over.
No.
Walking away from the platform with 6 suitcases, you feel a bit put out. You had anticipated a restful, even meditative train ride to replenish your mental and emotional reserves so that you might serve Rory more efficiently. Now you are at a loss. It would be absurd to have to wait for hours and then arrive late. When the gathering has already started, people might look at you askance, and there would be tut-tutting and the like. You step out of the station, sit down on a bench, and ponder your options. I am going to suggest that Callie read this character. Just look at her description and you can make a voice that fits that.
All right. Okay, proper gray bobbed hair, but also a badass.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm going to make this like my grandma, but more British.
That sounds great.
Good day, Cotswold. May I assist you?
You look up. A very proper-looking woman with gray-bobbed hair is addressing you. But her properness is balanced by the significant fact that she is wearing goggles, a bomber jacket, trousers, and heavy boots, and that she stands astride one of those new motorcycles with a sidecar.
This is my grandma. Keep going.
She checks to ensure that the brown wicker basket attached to the rear of the motorcycle is firmly latched, and then speaks to you again.
I saw you on the platform, and when you did not make it aboard your train, I waited for you to see if I could assist. I'm headed in the same direction as that train, and I further happen to know it stops for 20 minutes at Brooks Crossing. I believe we could make it to Brooks Crossing right as the train arrives, if you could board there for the final leg of your journey.
Do I know you?
Let us keep our voices down, as we are likely being observed at this very moment.
She looks over both shoulders and then steps closer to you.
I am Mrs. Regina Wilhelmina, and I am Primrose Patterson's housekeeper at this time. But we should not use our names openly here, and unfortunately, we need to get on the road. There is dirty work afoot, and I have an errand to run en route. Come along.
Although this seems like an extraordinary way to travel, you really have no other option, and so you must accede. What is the attitude with which you agree to her plan? Effusively
I'm like
grateful,
super.
clearly
I've got to be.
unhappy,
Yes.
or concerned.
I'm not at all concerned. I think this is a good thing for us. I think this awesome grandma is going to help us.
I'm effusively grateful for this stroke of luck in her offer. All right.
What could possibly go wrong?
You are sent from above, you say. Thank you so much for your kind offer.
I only hope this delay hasn't proved fatal to the rest of my day's work, but I'm happy to help. Just put your suitcases into the sidecar, put the spare helmet on, get behind me, and let's get moving.
She puts her own helmet on and then revs the motorcycle several times.
That's not remotely a motorcycle.
No, that does not sound like a
Let
motorcycle.
me try. Let me take
That
a
wasn't a
listen.
motorcycle either.
No, that was me clearing my throat. Is that decent motorcycle? I don't know. Something. That was more race car, probably.
I think
Whatever.
is more accurate, personally. But...
Okay.
Well, I guess it depends on what a motorcycle from that era would sound like, I
Oh,
suppose.
I have no idea. Probably louder than anything now.
Yeah, it sounded very bad. Okay.
Startling some passersby. Then she maneuvers
Maybe it screams. That would make it startle some passersby.
Yes, that is the sound of a motorcycle.
Absolutely.
That's the sound of her motorcycle.
Just hers.
Screaming. I love it. It's the screams of the damned.
She got a special muffler that doesn't actually muffle the sound, just converts it.
It's an amplifier. Okay.
Then she maneuvers out of the station parking and onto the street. So, if I can't call you by your name, what should I call you? You say, loudly, so she can hear you above the wind rushing past.
Call me Midnight Thorn for now, and I shall call you Dandelion.
Should we make up our own nom de guerre?
I'm not opposed. We'd have to come up with something really great.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Do we actually get to pick if we say that, Ben?
I think it's a fill-in, yeah.
Then I guess we have to go with that.
Yes, we have to choose that, but now we have to choose a name. I don't think that's a good idea. I'd have to change all the paperwork.
Oh, come now. I don't really care for Dandelion.
Have it your way, then. What do you want me to call you? Let me just... I'll just...
Dandelion.
You could even do Dandy Lion.
Or like
a lion, which is dandy.
reverse the letters of dandelion.
Wait, let's see.
Noiled Nad. Noiled Nad. That sounds strange. I've got a silly way we could do this if you really could. Or we could each pick one noun or adjective and then combine them into a massive, strange, confusing name without telling each other what our words are. Waffle.
Clockwork.
Clockwork has to go first.
Clockwork waffle is great. Yes! It's perfect!
Okay, just read your line again and I'll answer.
Have it your way, then. What do you want me to call you?
Clockwork waffle mantis shrimp, if you please.
Clockwork waffle mantis shrimp. Interesting. All right.
We did work at the circus for a time.
Oh, yeah.
That's true. All right, then, Clockwork waffle mantis shrimp. Then that will have to do. I will have to change all of the paperwork. But I suppose that cannot be helped.
What exactly are we talking about? I'm terribly bewildered.
Yes, I suppose you will need to be briefed. You are, I assume, quite familiar with the Cadbury Club.
Of course. That's the club that I'm a member of. I am now going to explain it for the purpose of the reading audience.
Ha ha ha.
The Cadbury Club for those who serve, the most exclusive organization for servants in the world.
Then surely you have heard of the Cadbury Club Inner Circle?
Oh yeah, sure. The third one sounds good. I don't know. It kind of shows interest in what's going on without being like, without saying one way or another whether you actually want to join.
Okay, am I choosing this or are we changing? Is this decided?
Choose it! No regrets!
Okay,
Read it.
too late.
Regrets! No!
It was something like, do you have any inside information if it's not against the rules?
I do have inside information, as you say, but it is not yet that time for that conversation.
Do go on. She sits taller in her seat.
The Cadbury Club Inner Circle is for the most elite members, for the ladies' maids and gentlemen's gentlemen who have attained the peak of their position.
Yes, so the new members say in hushed voices.
You are being considered for admission into the inner circle, and you are being evaluated for your suitability.
So are you like, you're my evaluator. I'll have to be on my best behavior. I smile. Or, you may as well call off the test as a great waste of time. I'm certain to be voted in. Or, me? Hardly the right person. Or, I wonder if a small cash gift would help.
No! I'm strongly opposed to the lying, cheating, and stealing routes.
Ka-clink, ka-clink.
I kind of feel like, I don't know if we're ready for this, because we seemed shocked earlier. And I don't want to sound like too much like, oh yeah, I'm expecting it, because then it'll be like a letdown if we don't get in. I would be tempted for number 3, though the first one's pretty good too. I'm between 1 and 3, if one of you guys wants to help me make a decision.
Hey, I'm neutral.
I think we kind of know we're a pretty good servant, so maybe 1.
Okay. Yeah,
I don't
let's
know.
go with it. I like that.
Yeah. Well, and this one is confident without being cocky.
Yeah.
Ah, I see. And you are my evaluator, which explains why you know who I am. I shall have to be on my best behavior with you, then. I smile. I'm making a really hammy smile right now that you can't see.
I can hear it.
Yeah, I could hear.
I know exactly the face you're making. In a manner of speaking, yes, I am your evaluator. A temporary mentor, let us say.
She does not smile back, but maintains an even expression. The inner circle is rumored to have elaborate tests and rigorous standards, but this conversation during a high-speed motorcycle jaunt is not at all what you expected.
Now, as you know, hang on one moment.
She accelerates for a bit, and then veers off the main road, and it makes that sound too.
Only when you're turning.
And then veers off the main road and onto a side road that runs past an ironworks, a quarry, and an oatmeal packaging factory. You whiz past the slower traffic here, and you take in some industrial scenery, factories, and so forth.
Uh-oh.
You hear Regina say. That is not what one hopes to hear, I must confess, you say. What is the matter?
Trouble, unfortunately.
She says. And then a dinosaur appeared and ate you. The end.
Oh. Interesting.
I'm going off of memory here.
That was a bit shorter than I expected.
I thought we weren't getting into those fantasy elements.
No, dinosaurs aren't fantasy.
If they were alive today, it would be fantasy.
Call it more science fiction, alternate prehistory sort of thing.
Well, excuse me, princess.
That's Grand Princess to you.
True.
You look over your shoulder and see a powerful-looking red Tyrannosaurus bearing down on you.
I don't know, maybe it would just tweet.
Okay. Sorry, powerful-looking red Spinosaurus. Okay. Speedster.
Speedstersaurus.
A stern...
Wait, let's say it's a Spinosaurus driving a red speedster. I like that better.
Okay. A stern Spinosaurus with shiny black hair and a pinched nose calls something out of the window of the passenger seat, which is probably something akin to... Oh, who wants to be the Spinosaurus?
Emily, have you always wanted to be a dinosaur?
Not particularly, but I can be.
Yay!
I'm not going to do like a dinosaur voice.
No, a dinosaur would obviously just speak in a regular human voice.
Oh, okay.
Depending on the species.
Halt!
Or,
Hey there!
there's someone attempting to hail us, you say, off the port side,
Oh, I know.
says Regina.
Hold on.
The figure responds to your sudden burst of speed by leaning out the window and pointing a revolver at you.
Oh,
You advise Regina as to this development. She takes a quick glance back.
I was hoping that you wouldn't have to deal with this, but all right. Clockwork Waffle Mantis Shrimp, I'm going to need your help. Here, steer. I'm going to return fire.
I feel like coming up with such a long code name might not be safe.
Yeah, she could just say CWMS, I guess, but then it sounds like we're a disease.
That does sound like a disease. She draws her
Thousands of Americans every day become more boring by acquiring CWMS, a disease that does absolutely nothing devastating or interesting, but gives you a cumbersome label to drag around everywhere you go.
I thought it would make you steampunk, delicious, and really good at color vision.
I mean, that too.
It actually enhances your color vision, but only when you're looking at either clockwork or waffles.
Ooh. Kind of a double-edged sword, because then you want to spend more time. But neither of those are particularly colorful things.
I know.
It gives you
Well, not
such
to
good.
us.
Yeah, it gives you
Right.
such good color vision that they look colorful to you.
Yeah.
Oh! So I'd have like rainbow waffles every morning, but they'd just be like regular waffle batter. I like that.
Not pancakes, though, for some reason.
Yeah, it doesn't work the same.
She draws her own revolver from a concealed holster and waits for you to take the handlebars.
Dang, Grandma's packing heat! Well, one of these is the risk that we're gonna drive bad. One of these is the risk we're gonna gun bad. One of these is a risk we're not gonna figure anything out. So that's the way I see it.
Well, I know we're pretty good at literary quotations, but I don't think that's going to help. I'd say we should probably just start driving.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't think gun is a good idea. Because
Yeah.
at least Grandma seems like she knows how to use this thing. I think we would just, like, blow up something, you know, like a shrub and fail anything. Let Grandma handle the shooting.
By the way, does our character look like a cross between the three of us? I'm just picturing.
Oh, Lord. Let's say
hmm.
no.
Best not to picture that too hard.
It's like you can picture a mix between two people easier, but when you're like trying to combine three people, it just gets confusing and upsetting very fast. Thank you, Clockwork Waffle Mantis Shrimp. Much appreciated.
She ducks under your arms and leaps into the sidecar, straddling all of your luggage, holding her revolver with both hands. You look back at your pursuers. They are gaining quickly, and soon they will draw even with you. You watch them for a moment longer before suddenly remembering that you are the one purportedly driving this contraption. You are, unfortunately, having difficulty controlling the motorcycle, and you weave back and forth with little to no voluntary control. Regina is tossed back and forth and is forced to drop to one knee. Don't smash the small green suitcase, you say. It has my employer's straw boater in it.
A straw boater in autumn.
I know, you say, ducking under a low tree branch and skidding wildly. It is not worn with my say-so in this sort of weather. I find it an affectation and a sign of lack of judgment in packing, and I've endeavored to make this known to Mr. Wintermint, but the conclusion of that conversation has not been satisfactory.
I'm horrified at both you and your employer,
Regina says.
And as I need room to kneel down considering your horrid driving, I will toss it to the ground right now with hopes that it is crushed beneath the wheel of our adversary.
If you must, you say, at least some good may come of this affair.
Oh!
A bullet hits the bike very near to your leg. It is a shocking reminder of the reality of this situation.
Clockwork waffle mantis shrimp,
says Regina, quite calmly, thumbing the cylinder release and reloading her revolver. Yes, Regina?
Midnight Thorn, if you please.
I'm sorry, Midnight Thorn.
We must keep up standards, even in trying circumstances, you know.
Naturally.
Remove your helmet. I'm going to hand you an envelope in a moment. I should like you to eat it.
Regina brings the motorcycle to a halt. To eat it?
When I tell you...
She raises her voice.
Hello there! Silence!
The pursuing cars come to a full stop at last, and your pursuers have exited and cautiously approach.
Yeah?
Says the man with the shiny hair, walking towards you. His partner, a woman wearing a frilly white apron, lowers her weapon.
It's no use,
says Regina.
The information you seek will not be yours. Clockwork waffle mantis shrimp, if you would. Eat it, eat it, eat it, eat
Our options are, I devour the letter, I certainly won't be eating this, are you mad? Or, I look at the letter.
Eat it.
Okay.
Delicious!
I devour the letter. You gobble the letter raw, trying to imagine that it is nothing more than a particularly fibrous salad or bran muffin.
Delicious.
Seeing the letter disappear down your gullet, your assailants cry out in dismay.
You see, then, that you have lost. Begone!
Regina says.
We shall, I'm certain, meet again.
Yes, Midnight Thorn, we shall.
And they depart swiftly.
Well done, Clockwork waffle mantis shrimp. Now let's move.
You hasten to comply, but, alas, with a bit of a stomach ache.
Oh, tummy ache. Well, that was an adventure.
Says Regina.
But you were thrust into a situation that was well over your head, and for that I apologize.
I think the middle one kind of contributes to our unflappability.
No need to apologize. Obviously, it was unavoidable.
Yeah. All right. So, Regina?
Yeah.
I think I'm going to revamp her voice just a teensy bit. Let me try. Yes, generally we in the inner circle seek to prepare for all eventualities, but we find ourselves just concluding a nasty bit of business.
So just Scottishing her a bit.
A wee bit, yeah. Just to make her more distinctive.
Right. A nasty bit of business? Sounds mysterious.
Less mysterious and more tawdry.
You drive for a little while in silence. Soon, you leave behind the industrial area and whiz into a residential neighborhood. Strolling young couples and elderly pensioners on benches enjoy the autumn leaves. A few point at you as you pass. Regina directs you towards the more elegant part of town and then begins to speak, her words measured.
I suppose you deserve a small bit of background. I had intended to tell you later, but since we're here, and if you do not mind me having to raise my voice as we drive, I will speak briefly on what you need to know.
Please, by all means, say on.
The Inner Circle is an alliance of talented and polished servants who are dedicated to maintaining the safety and serenity of their employers at all costs. There are those who may wish our employers ill, to embarrass them socially perhaps. We are the last line of defense.
But surely we all maintain the safety and serenity of our employers, you say?
Of course we do. But we in the Inner Circle are tasked with solving the most intractable of the problems. The perfect lady's maid or gentleman's gentleman is expected to extract their employer from absurdly complex problems, as if it were nothing at all. This would be impossible if we did not exist, working behind the scenes. We become involved when all seems lost.
Such as?
Consider the letter that so recently was consumed.
I do recall it.
It contained information that our assailants daily wished to procure from us.
What did it say?
A love letter containing explicit discussion, including a very compromising limerick of a gentleman's thoughts upon a love interest whom some would deem an inappropriate choice.
I see.
The gentleman's enemies had stolen the letter from its recipients and intended to use it for blackmail. The gentleman in question was lucky enough to have a manservant with a cousin in the Inner Circle, and our team went into action at once. We retrieved the letter as part of a daring strike. Unfortunately, as the letter was consumed, our mission was not wholly successful. The gentleman wished to have the letter returned to him. Nevertheless, destroyed seems to me just as good.
You finally come to a stop in front of a palatial Romanesque Revival townhouse, all arches and towers in brown-red stone, with a cedar fence marking off its tiny but well-kept garden in front. Is that French? Verdigris?
I
don't know.
Verdigris.
I would guess
I
it's
think,
probably
yeah.
French
It
because
looks 'cause-
Verdi would be close to vert, which is green, and if
Yeah,
it's a copper
green-gray.
plate, then it's oxidized. So
Yeah, I mean, Verdi is Italian for green, but I don't think
and maybe
Greece...
it's
I don't think Greece would be Italian because you don't get words ending in S.
gris. Gris is gray in French too. So yeah,
Okay.
I don't know. Well, go ahead.
This discussion brought to you by linguistic confusion.
Yeah, I took like 5 years of French. That's my contribution to this.
Talking about the origin of words.
I picked up pretty much all the Italian I knew from listening to opera. The verdigris colored copper plate over the door announces that this is the home of the Honorable Mr. Z.
Ooh, it's kind of an imposing alien-like name. Wait here with the motorcycle.
Says Regina, stepping off.
I have to inform the person who hired us that while we saved his employer from embarrassment, we were focused to destroy the letter. I will take just a moment, and then we shall meet your train.
You wait while Regina approaches the front door. A butler opens it and quickly ushers her inside with an expression of relief on his face. You drum your fingers on the seat of the motorcycle for a moment, but you have little time to while away, as a light blue and white police car approaches and pulls up behind you. A man in a trench coat and a battered deerstalker hat, holding a paperback novel, emerges. His eyes fixed to the open book, following the words down the page with his index finger, he walks towards you without looking up.
Wait, is this Sherlock Holmes pretty much?
Let's say more wannabe Sherlock Holmes.
I want to be Sherlock Holmes. I own a deerstalker hat, actually.
I think you mean you wannabe Sherlock Holmes.
I mean, I could be. I don't mind.
Okay.
I don't know how significant this part is. I don't want to keep Emily from doing any voices.
Oh no, I am. Since you have a far better range of voices than me, and since that's one that's calling to you, it's like I'm actually pretty good with Rory. I like being Rory, and I don't mind if I'm not too many other people.
Plus,
Yeah.
I'd like to try to channel Benedict Cumberbatch for this because I'm a huge fan of his performance as Sherlock.
Yeah, the first line is still me.
Yes, I got that.
Hello, officer. He holds up one finger at you, still not taking his eyes off the page.
There.
He says, finishing the paragraph he was on and marking his place with a soft tan leather bookmark. He stows the book in his inside coat pocket and then looks up at you, surveying the scene.
Inspector Ambrose of the Yard. Is this your motorcycle?
I don't remember who we were on.
Why don't we
Oh,
start with you, because
well.
I'm taking Inspector Ambrose.
I
Ambrose. I just gotta get deeper and deeper.
go deeper, Callie.
How deep can you go?
Not as deep as you, but I can try. I don't even know if the mic will pick me up at a certain point. Let's test.
I'm sorry, I have testosterone.
Yeah. Don't apologize to me for that. It's like the deeper I go, the quieter it gets. I can actually get very deep, but it's like just above a whisper, and I don't know if the mic will pick it up.
Everything changed when I was 14.
Inspector Ambrose of the Yard.
I had such
Is that picking up decently or not?
I got that.
Inspector Ambrose of the Yard. Is this your motorcycle? Yeah, it's like I'm barely above a whisper here, but as long as you're getting it, that's what counts.
I had
Yeah,
a
it's like I can
delicate,
still.
dainty voice keyboard change.
Wait, what?
No, it's just I had a very high voice as a kid.
I still have a very high voice, Ben. I just can do some things to manipulate it. It's very hard to speak this deeply.
And then
Will try.
And then I managed to be in a musical exactly the year that my voice was changing.
Oh, that's the saddest story in one sentence. Oh,
It gets sadder in sentence two. The entire rest of the male cast's voices were also changing.
Ah! No.
Middle school musicals. No, I was singing. Okay, never mind.
You're just gonna keep growling that at you until.
Okay. You're going to just make me keep laughing.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
How do you choose to die?
I'm just watching it for a friend.
Yes, the choice between these two will determine how you die.
How do you choose to die?
I'm just watching it for a friend, officer.
Oh, that is your choice.
Yeah.
Yes.
I got distracted too.
Okay. Yeah. Now I'm just picturing this as Smaug because my Benedict Cumberbatch turned into Smaug because he also voices that character.
He's
So
a
Ben-
dragon in a deer killer hat.
Deer stalker, not deer killer. What's a deer killer hat?
It's a hat made with the carcass of a deer, obviously.
Oh my lord, that's terrifying.
It's a hat made by a deer who kills humans. That kind of
That's
deer
even
killer.
worse. This is not helping. I'm picturing like a Cabone or Marowak situation if you're familiar with the Pokemon. A friend, you say?
He paces around the motorcycle, noting its license plate.
Tell me, was your friend recently engaged in a high-speed chase involving gunfire?
So, now when I say friend, you must understand that what I mean is acquaintance whom I barely know.
I like that one.
I don't intend to offer any information on the subject. Or, I would say yes, she was involved in both a chase and a gunfire.
I would say one. I assumed so, yes. Tell me more about this acquaintance. Don't feel bad about betraying them if you barely know them. Tell me any distinguishing features. Scars, tattoos, notable speech patterns, and so forth.
He pulls out a notepad from inside his coat and a pen. The notepad is a high-quality one with gilt edges and bears the word clues on its front in an attractive calligraphic type.
It's like Blue's Clues.
Exactly like it.
Bow, bow.
He waves his pencil over the pad in a tight circle.
Come, come. The suspect must be described.
Are you investigating anything in particular, you say, cutting him off?
I am. That's interesting that you happen to know that. I'm on the trail of the notorious sneak thief known to the local papers as Light-Fingered Lou, although that is merely a nom de guerre.
I see. And you believe that I may have some information pertaining to this Light-Fingered Lou?
Perhaps. I'm simply considering all angles, using the science of deduction. You see, when you eliminate the impossible, the only thing left is the possible.
He pauses with a mildly troubled look on his face.
Just the opposite, rather. You look for the blue pawprints. That's the general idea.
You notice Regina open the door of Mr. Dz's house.
I like that name.
And stand, looking at Inspector Ambrose for a moment. She then makes a series of pantomimes that obviously means...
We have to go. Get rid of him. No, I've done a different accent again. Hold on. We have to go. Get rid of him.
She's secretive enough, she might just change her accent.
Just like at intervals. To confuse people, so no one knows where she's actually from.
See. It is Emily's style.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know, it's a meaningful choice.
Choose to die.
You're going to start that up again.
This is becoming what choice of games means to me. How do you choose to die?
I don't think there are any choice of games that work that way.
I don't know, maybe someone needs to make one then.
Choice of deaths?
Yes.
So every choice would be like either you live or you die. And if you make the wrong one, you have to start over again.
Okay, since how I would do it would be, instead of giving Regina's description, would be giving the description of the people who were shooting at us instead. I would say the closest one to that would be give him some false information to distract him.
Okay, I don't even remember what that is, so let's find out.
It's not worrying.
Well, perhaps I have a clue that could be of use. A clue that will lead you on a chase for truth and justice far from here.
You intrigue me. Say on,
He removes a magnifying glass from his pocket.
in case I need it.
It's not the sort of clue that will require magnification, you clarify. I have heard that a daring burglary is in progress. Something about the crown jewels. His face falls and he holds up a hand to stop you.
Intriguing, no doubt, but not the sort of crime that I specialize in. You see, I specialize solely in cozy mysteries, not thefts of national importance.
Cozy?
Yes, small, limited pool of suspects. Domestic crime with complex, multiple motives, usually in country estates. I don't do crown jewels. You, however, seem to know a great deal about thefts in progress. Why, I wonder, is that?
Could you repeat the question?
Suspect acting highly suspicious. You are a great source of evidence. What is your name?
I realize now that we're probably not very good at deception.
Right, I suppose not. We do have skills.
We can use our waffle mantis shrimp name. It is my choice. Oh shoot, we could make something up though, but then he might check with our comrade. So let's say Clockwork Waffle Mantis Shrimp.
Also, we can claim the name that is the name of the thief.
Why would you do that?
If we're very dumb.
Clockwork Waffle Mantis Shrimp.
Totally highly believable name. Is that so?
It is. He writes your name down and underlines it 3 times.
Very well. Clockwork, waffle, mantis, shrimp. You seem clever enough to know that you can save yourself a lot of trouble by being forthcoming.
Sure.
Now, how about sharing with me some information about...
It is at that moment that a bright red flare lights up the sky in the distance. A distress call, or a signal.
What was that? That was from the direction of the Historical Museum.
Inspector Ambrose says, taking out his novel and riffling through the pages excitedly.
Danger? Dirty work afoot? I'm going to find out. There are wheels within wheels. I don't know yet how it all fits together, but I shall. You don't leave the country.
I won't, you say. And Inspector Ambrose drives away. You notice he is reading as he drives. After a few moments, Regina rejoins you. Did you do that?
I did. It was unfortunate that I had to. It created attention, whereas I would have preferred to keep a low profile. But did she give us enough time to get you to your train?